Something historic happened in the south of Britain 4,500 years ago, at the end of the Neolithic era, the last episode of the Stone Age. Whatever it was, religious fervor, artistry, a feeling of upcoming change, wreaked havoc on the occupants and sparked a frenzy of monument development. The most iconic, Stonehenge, the circle of standing stones, brings millions of people to England's Salisbury Plain. Continue watching to discover how its secrets were revealed. First, Stone Age people were going crazy. Many of Britain's massive stone circles, enormous wooden palisades, and grand boulevards of standing stones were built in an astoundingly short period of time, maybe even as little as 100 years, by folks who had no metal tools, horsepower, or even the wheel. They deprived forests of their largest trees and shifted vast amounts of earth in the process. An archaeologist, Susan Greene, had said that it was as if madness had swept the countryside, an obsession driving them to build greater, better, and more advanced structures. The ancient megalith Stonehenge has fascinated and flabbergasted all who have seen it for generations. This includes medieval anthropologist Henry of Huntingdon. In a document written around the year 1130, he declared it to be one of England's marvels, adding that nobody knew how or why it was built. We guess it was the lack of Wi-Fi and Netflix that was giving them all this time to be bored. But that's just us. But the secrets soon start to unravel. Why are people so fascinated by some big old rocks in a field? An expert explains that people want to see things that have survived ages. Places that have lived through great rises and low falls are in the story of humankind. The solar-aligned stone circle has been credited to Romans, Druids, Vikings, Saxons, and even King Arthur's court magician, Merlin, over the last 900 years. The truth, however, is the most mysterious of all. This is because it was built by people who disappeared and left no written language, lore, or legends. We were just left with a pile of bones, broken pottery, stone and antler tools, and a slew of similarly mystical monuments, some of which appear to have overshadowed Stonehenge in size and splendor. One of the more impressive structures, now known as the Mount Pleasant Megahenge, was crafted on a grassy highland overseeing the rivers Frome and Winterbourne. A swarm of workers dug a massive ring-shaped hole and embankment, or henge, 3/4 of a mile in circumference, more than triple the size of that of Stonehenge. Inside the gigantic earthwork, the builders raised a circle of 6-foot-thick oak tree posts that weighed more than 17 tons. Now, a flood of revolutionary technology has opened new doors into the past. These allow archaeologists to put together the realm of the great Stone Age landmarks of southern Britain and the humans who built them with a clarity that would have been unthinkable just a few decades ago. Turns out that the findings through DNA evidence shocked historians. One of the most surprising revelations has been the discovery, via DNA analysis, of mass migration from the continent of the Europeans around 4000 BC. The influx of newbies, whose ancestors could be traced back thousands of years to Anatolia, now known as Turkey, replaced Britain's indigenous hunter-gatherers with a genetically different society that planted cereal crops and reared livestock. It's safe to say that this isn't what experts expected. How could it be as easy as that? The idea of the advent of agriculture turning up in Britain as a result of large-scale migration seemed overly simplistic. Everybody was looking for a more complex and subtle narrative, a diffusion of ideas rather than large crowds boarding boats. But it turned out to be just that. A number of the migrants crossed the English Channel at its narrowest point, which is now known as the Strait of Dover. Some also, from western France's Brittany, took lengthier, riskier open water routes to West Britain and Ireland. Some of the first Breton settlers settled along Wales's sturdy coast in Pembrokeshire. Their successors, some 40 generations later, may have created the first edition of Stonehenge. Then came an augmented reality experience of the site itself. Throughout the publishing history of National Geographic magazine, it introduced readers to images and stories about Stonehenge in cool and exciting ways. The black and white aerial photograph of it was the magazine's first image of the megaliths. It was only possible by the latest invention of the the time, the aeroplane. This was published in May 1922. Then, Nat Geo used cutting-edge technology to recreate Stonehenge as you've never seen it before. They enlisted the help of two inventive photographers, Alice Zhu, who documented people's relationships to Neolithic sites, and Reuben Wu, who transformed landscapes into ethereal realms rooted in mystery. Then they decided to take it a step further and use photogrammetry to develop an interactive, high-resolution, three-dimensional model of the site. Martin Edstrom, a National Geographic explorer and photographer, was enlisted by the magazine. He and his team had to use a drone to capture over 7,000 images of the monument from all angles, which they then processed into the digital replica you can now see anytime, anywhere. This high-quality 3D simulation also functions as an augmented reality experience on mobile devices. Stonehenge AR, which is available on Instagram, allows users to interact with tabletop and full-size replicas of the site, cycle through different solstice periods, and even take selfies while visiting. Now, if that's not cool, we don't know what is. So let's learn how they managed to capture it in all its glory. Stonehenge has been captured on camera in an entirely new light, thanks to the use of modern drone tech and fake lighting. The ancient prehistoric site on Salisbury Plain in the UK is a mainstream tourist spot and photography destination. So when a photographer from Chicago, Reuben Wu, was requested to shoot it for National Geographic, he wanted to do it differently. The photographer used two cameras, a drone, and artificial light to take the picture of Stonehenge he imagined. He used a fusion of ancient history and modern technology. A brilliant combo, if you ask us. Using what appears to be one of the finest Sony cameras, not sure which one, he captured a time-lapse of the boulders as they changed from sunset to nightfall, and he took stills all through the shoot with a medium format camera, which is believed to be a Phase 1. Reuben was able to pull off a distinct effect to light the individual stones by operating a drone around them and attaching an artificial light to the end of a telescopic pole. Because drones are not allowed to fly above the actual stones, his assistant lit them from above with a 50-foot pole. In order to achieve the image he desired, Reuben had to consider factors such as the moon's position and luminance, as well as the cloudiness of the sky. Despite the fact that there are hundreds of thousands of fancy and amateur photos of Stonehenge, this is the first time it has been photographed using this special technique. In an interview with National Geographic, Reuben stated that much of his work is based on the concept of presenting the familiar in an unfamiliar light. There's this unsettling landscape where you wouldn't expect to see that kind of lighting, and it shows you something you might see every day in an entirely different light. The images truly are magical and have left us in awe. Now, in other news, did you know that people gathered at Stonehenge for the summer solstice? Thousands of people cheered as the sun shone over Stonehenge to mark the summer solstice. Those who came to see the show at the Neolithic monument in Wiltshire were treated to a chilly morning with clear blue skies as the sun glimmered over the horizon at 4:49 a.m. This year marked the first time that members of the public were permitted to attend the solstice in physical form since 2019, with the previous 2 years' events being streamed online due to the pandemic. According to English Heritage, 170,000 people from all over the world watched the solstice over the internet this time around. Apparently, it's one of the highlights of the year. Nicola Tasker, the Stonehenge director of English Heritage, stated that commemorating the summer solstice is one of the best moments of the year at Stonehenge. They were thrilled to have been able to host people back this year, as well as live stream the event to thousands of people all over the world. Wherever you are, it's a wonderful opportunity for friends and families to gather to celebrate the longest day of the year, as people have for thousands of years. There was a welcoming atmosphere throughout, and everyone enjoyed the spectacular view of the sunset and sunrise. It was the best one yet. Wiltshire police said the event went off without a hitch, with approximately 6,000 people in attendance and only 2 arrests. To the superintendent, this year's summer solstice was a success on several levels. There were some traffic problems nearing Stonehenge due to the great number of vehicles wanting to visit the site, but the event went on smoothly, and the atmosphere remained festive throughout, undoubtedly helped by the incredible weather. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think about the new Stonehenge secrets? Let us know know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.